Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There's a latest single from Tesla. It's called Cold Blue Steel. And man, I love it when I hear new Tesla music.
Oh, yeah.
And with us today on the show, we want to welcome back to Rock and Metal Revival, Frank Hannon. Welcome back, Frank.
Hey, it's great to be back, guys. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing well. It's all, like I said, it's always great to hear new music from Tesla. And now that you're back on the road after all that time off, Frank, it's got to feel great to get out in front of those crowds again.
Oh, man, Tesla's on fire. We just played Manhattan, New York City last night, and the band is rejuvenated and sparked up better than ever after surviving COVID last month. We all got sick, and we all battled it, and now we're back in action. We got our new single that you just played, Cold Blue Steel, that we're really happy with. And, it's great to be back, man.
Now, how does it... how many... You got any surprises on your guest list, on your set list this year? This tour? Anything for us diehard fans who haven't maybe heard?
Tesla is celebrating our 30th anniversary of our third album, Psychotic Supper. And when we hit the 30th anniversary of our first album, our minds were blown. But now we're already on the 30th anniversary of our third album, and we're pulling out tracks from Psychotic Supper. We're doing, of course, What You Give and like that song. But we're doing Call It What You Want, Edison's Medicine. We're going to touch on Freedom Slaves as soon as we get a chance to rehearse it a little bit more. And so we're going deep off of that album. But we're also playing the new song, Cold Blue Steel, and, of course, Modern Day Cowboy and Signs and Love Song and all of those.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, I'm really digging Cold Blue Steel a lot, but I haven't seen anything about an upcoming album. I see a lot of bands doing singles, going that singles route right now, Frank. Do you think that's the future of the way the music business is going to go?
Well, the fact is that record stores don't exist anymore, and albums are a real pain in the ass to make, especially when people put deadlines on it. And the one thing that we're very fortunate now in our career now, after almost 40 years, is we call the shots. And so we're not putting a deadline on an album, because when you do that, you end up, sacrificing quality sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to have fun and write a song, one song at a time, and when it's all done, when there's a group of them, then we'll put it on an album at the end of the session, maybe at the end of the year. But to say, hey, we've got an album, we got to have that album done by May 1st, it just puts too much of a unpleasant deadline on it. So we're going to stick to our new way of just writing a song as we feel it and putting it out, and then it comes out great. And we're really happy with Cold Blue Steel for that reason, because we just did it without any pressure. We just did it for our own pleasure. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, totally. Now, I read Brian Wheat's Son of a Milkman book. Have you got any plans to write a book or anything like that?
Everyone asks me, have you read his book? And
yeah.
I haven't read his book. You know why? Because I lived it with him, man.
Yeah.
He and I go back to junior high school together. But, the answer is yes. I do have a concept for a book that I've been working on in my mind. And the tentative title of it is Modern Day Cowboy.
Nice.
Because I do a lot of horse activities, and I work with a lot of people in a different culture, the true, authentic cowboy culture down in Texas. And, whether you're a musician or you're a cowboy or whatever you are in life, there's a mentality that goes with staying strong and fighting through adversity. And that's really the true meaning of a cowboy. So I kind of have that concept in my mind about the book I want to write.
That's really cool. Now, Frank, I know you worked with a band that we had on our show called Red Voodoo, and I mean, we both love the way that band sounded, and I can hear some Tesla influence in what they do. Have you really fallen in love producing bands? I mean, because you did a lot of it during the off time.
Oh, I love it, man. It's a lot of fun. And again, I learned that a little bit. I mean, I've always been into recording the 4-track demos or 8-track demos. Even as a kid, my neighbors and my friends that I'd have, I'd help them make recordings. But again, going back to the cowboy thing, I work with a coach. And so when I bring that coach mentality to these young bands, like, it's a teamwork effort and working together on that capacity. It's so much fun. And yes, Red Voodoo, I'm very proud of those kids, man. I coached them and we made a record. It's called Bring It Back. And, it's a lot of fun being a coach. And that's basically what a producer is a coach that puts it together.
Cool.
Nice. Every time I go on Facebook, I see Frank Hannon with a new guitar. And I saw the Hendrix one that you just scored. How'd you end up with that? I know you traded some stuff, right, with somebody to get that Hendrix V.
I searched for the Hendrix V because I just, I am a guitar junkie. There's no doubt about it. I collect them, I buy them, I sell them, I trade them, and I use them. So they're like the tools of my trade. And so I'm very lucky that I have a passion for them. But I searched that Hendrix V out, and I found it online at Scruff's Guitars in Texas, and they're extremely rare. So it was hard to find that guitar, but I just searched for it, and I did. I traded some other stuff that I wasn't using, like a real fancy microphone that I had that was worth a lot of money that I thought it sounded too good. The microphone, I didn't really care for it, so I traded it.
Nice. Nice. Now, what about you just got the Dickie Betts SG Les Paul. What makes that one different than the regular Les Paul?
Well, that guitar is a very special guitar that Dickie Betts designed with Gibson right before he retired and right before Gibson changed ownership. So it's extremely rare because Gibson changed their management, and they don't even have a clue about the guitar. It's like a mystery, and there's only 2 of them in the world, prototypes, and it is a SG that is beefed up into shape like a Les Paul, where the switch is a little higher up on the body, so you could access it easier, and the thickness of the wood is a lot thicker, much more stable. And it's all designed with Dickie Betts' ideas. And Dickie Betts, besides being the guitarist that wrote Ramblin' Man and all those great songs for the Allman Brothers, he's also a very creative, artistic person, and he came up with some great ideas for the guitar. So I'm going to be working with Gibson and asking them to possibly reissue it, because it is a one-of-a-kind, unique guitar. And Dickie Betts is my father-in-law for 20 years, and I love the guy. So I'd like to see his vision be realized.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Frank, I really like the song you released called Ride Strong a while back, and I've got all the Frank Hannon Band stuff. Any thoughts about another Frank Hannon Band album?
Thanks, man. I've got so much stuff kind of just sitting there on the computer. Some solo ideas, but right now I'm focusing exclusively on Tesla and getting Tesla back on the road here, and Cold Blue Steel, and working with Jeff. But I do have a collection of some things that I did. I did some recordings with Brian Tichy that sound pretty cool, and they're pretty rocking. And I got some other recordings with Aaron Lee from Y&T, and I don't really have a set band, so to speak. I play with all my friends,
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Steve Brown is our drummer in Tesla right now, and there he is. That's him in the background. And Stevie Brown is Mick Brown's little brother, and he kicks ass on drums, and he's played on a lot of my solo albums. If you listen to From One Place to Another, or actually Six String Soldiers, he's rocking on a track there we did with Dave Minichetti, Lipstick Smoke and Gasoline. That's Stevie Brown playing drums on that. So, I don't really have a set band, so to speak, but I just have a lot of friends, and I'm very lucky for that. They put up with my craziness.
Very cool, very cool. I was gonna ask, what's it like not having Troy out there, working with someone else, looking back and seeing someone else?
Well, it's definitely different because Troy's been with us, you know, since 1985 or something like that, and
Yeah.
it's definitely different. But you know, we support Troy in his decision, man, because being on the road is not easy, and the COVID thing and the family stuff, you know. So, you know, we're supportive of Troy doing his thing that he wants to do, and again, we got Stevie Brown on drums, which has been a real kick in the ass, man. He's brought a new energy to the show, and he knows these songs like the back of his hand. He's been playing them. He's a local guy, you know. He's a friend of ours from Sacramento, so he's been playing these songs too, and has heard them his whole life.
Cool.
So it's pretty much automatic. It's like just having our brother, trading one brother for another.
Nice.
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
You know, Frank,
yeah, man.
the first time I saw Tesla, you guys were playing on a small stage at Summerfest back in 1987, and here we
Dude,
are.
I'll never forget that show. That's one of the best shows ever that Tesla did. And they made the radio station made a vinyl LP of that record. I wish I could find it.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be on the lookout for it here in Wisconsin. You know, and we're here talking in 2021, and like I said, that was the first time I ever saw Tesla. I've been a fan ever since. Now, I guess my question to you is, what is the secret of the longevity of Tesla?
Well, I don't really know other than maybe the songs. You know, we got told very early on in our career that the songs and the quality of the lyrics in the songs is the most important thing to focus on. That came all the way back to when Ronnie Montrose was coaching us. I told you about, you know, coaching and being advised, and Ronnie Montrose and Cliff Bernstein and Peter Mitch, they always told us to write the best songs that we could. I think that's what stands the test of time with any band, really. Beatles, whatever, any great band that lasts a long time, it comes down to their songs.
That's very cool. And, you know, you said before we went on the air that you're out performing some dates with Skynyrd, who I know is on their farewell tour. Do you ever see Tesla having a farewell tour, or do you guys see yourselves doing it until they say, okay, no more?
Well, I think we're going to keep trying to just keep doing it. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think we'll ever advertise that this is going to be our farewell tour, but I mean, maybe someday it'll be over, but we don't have that
Good.
mindset right now, especially after what we just went through, man. We want to keep kicking ass.
Nice, nice. You think the song Love Song could have used some cowbell?
No, I don't think so, man.
You sure? You sure? Just a little.
No.
No.
No, right at the beginning? No, huh? Just,
Cows will find their way. Cows will find their way. They always find their way home, don't they? Yeah.
Well, Frank, I was looking forward to seeing you in Dubuque, and I hope that gets rescheduled real soon. And we are so glad to have Tesla back out on the road again. And we always let the artist pick the song out of the interview. So anything you want us to play from your catalog, we played the new one, so it's up to you.
Well, I compared that new song, you know, Cold Blue Steel. A lot of people question the lyrics on there, and you got to really listen deeply to the lyrics. It's not just about one thing or another. It's about everything. And it's sort of the same way that we wrote the song Modern Day Cowboy, you know, which was about current events that were happening in 1986, but we wrote about it in a way where it's not biased to take his side. So I'd like to play Modern Day Cowboy to seal the deal on this interview.
sweet.
Outstanding. Frank Hannon, you are always welcome back on Rock and Metal Revival.
All right, Rock and Metal Revival. Crank it up. This is Modern Day Cowboy.